Alright, our opponent is Kugasa. The month is still June, which means it's Evergreen Month. And Evergreen Month means we take the Evergreen mechanic keywords, such as Menace, and we make a deck that overloads the entire deck with that particular keyword. And we've had some fun already with, let's see, what have we done? We've done Vigilance, we've done First Strike, we've done Death Touch. Since I have 2 of Peerless Samurai, let's start with that. Against a toxic deck, we're kind of automatically on defense. Especially the black ones have a lot of cheap creatures. Green has some cheap creatures too. Oh, we got 3 colors. How many toxic cards are in this deck? I see. Welcome to Tpull's Corner, everybody. This is Travis. Yeah, already they managed to get their creature bigger than mine. Okay. Let's try this. Once they've got the advantage with creatures, we're immediately on the defensive when it comes to a poison deck. So that's basically a 5/5. And the advantage is that they can always put down... Never mind. So they're willing to do that just to give me another poison counter. That seems fair, I guess. I was going to say, not only can they put down increasing threats, let's start with just a second Peerless Samurai. And, oh, I can afford the Elemental. This is Eldraine card, Rotisserie Elemental. I kind of like when they get into the fairy tales of Eldraine, they do get a little whimsical and almost animated. Or cartoonish, you might say, with some of their creations. Gives it a bit of personality. Okay, I don't have a lot of blocking in here. I didn't put a whole bunch of other evergreen terms. I do have one creature that has reach for sure. Really? Okay. So we'll double block there, we'll block there. Let's see if they have a combat trick. And they do. Still give me my 3rd poison counter, so if they have any corruption spells, that will also work against us. Let's try Shieldred now. Make them get rid of something. If they're really confident in their poison, they'll get rid of the Slaughter Singer. No, okay, they need that still. Hit them for 1. We're going to decline that. Another flyer. Okay, fine. Alright, they used all their cards to get to that point. They might be in trouble. This is a nice card. That gets rid of the flyer. We don't have to worry about poison counters anymore. And... actually, let's see. I can straight up attack there. We can convert this, and we have a new blocker. And I don't have to be afraid about attacking with most of my forces. If they decide to untap Shakedown they do, then I've got a blocker against the Slaughter Singer. So again, I don't have to worry about attacks. The one thing they're missing appears to be interaction. I'm sure they have more than just the one Bushwhack spell, but they didn't draw any removal. And all of the decks this month are mostly going to be creature decks. That's kind of the nature of the evergreen keywords. Let's go ahead and show you the deck. If you're new, we invite you to like and subscribe. Just calling this Menace 2024. I'm not making it complicated for you. And Menace, for those who are new, a creature with Menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Menace is kind of a modern evolution of what Magic has been working on for years. They started with things like Fear, where it was kind of a black spell, and you could maybe, you can't be blocked except by black and artifact creatures, because artifact creatures couldn't be scared. It was the thing. They changed it up. They didn't like that. They wanted something else, so they tried something called Intimidation, and that wasn't sufficient either. So Menace is sort of the final thing that they've arrived at, and they appear to be happy with it, where you just need 2 creatures to block it. And if not, then it's going to get through, and it can attack either a creature, a planeswalker, a battle, whatever. You need to have 2 creatures eligible to block it, or it's going to get through. And so what happens when you make a deck of a bunch of creatures, and all of them have Menace? So here's what we got. We got Beantown Beatstick. Equipped creature has +1 and has Menace. Whenever you attack, you create a creature token if you do damage to either a player or a battle. That's kind of nice. So if there's any creature in here that doesn't have Menace, we can give it to them. Rotisserie Elemental starts getting these skewer counters whenever you do combat damage to a player. And if you want to sacrifice it at any point, you can exile the top X cards of your library and play them this turn. So ideally, you want to get to like maybe 3, 4, 5 kind of skewer counters on this thing. With Menace, perhaps it's going to get through in an attack. And then you get to sacrifice it, draw a whole bunch of cards. And if you haven't cast any spells that turn, maybe you got some nice choices there. Extract the Truth. This is just a key card in case the opponent plays a debilitating enchantment, because red and black are weak against enchantments. But if I get it early on, I may just use it and pick their most devastating creature, enchantment, or planeswalker card out of their hand. For removal, we have Invasion of Asgol. I did this. There's probably better choices for removal overall. You have some problems with Invasion of Asgol because the target player gets to choose what they want to get rid of. If they have 3 creatures on the board, they can get rid of a 1/1, and what's the big deal? However, if you convert the battle, the Ashen Reaper creature to the right, you see, has Menace. So it fit with the theme. I needed some removal. I was playing red and black. It seemed like the right choice to me. Okay, arguably there are better cards you could use, but I've used Invasion of Asgol before in other decks, and I do like the card. Let's see, we have Biting Palm Ninja from Kamigawa. Has a Menace counter on it. Doesn't always have Menace, but it comes in with it. If you want to remove the Menace counter when you attack the player, then when you hit the player reveals their hand and you choose a non-land card from it and get to exile it. 2 Shakedown Heavies, they have Menace. The defending player can actually have you draw a card instead, and if they do, you untap the heavy and remove it from combat. So they can keep from 6 points of damage, but you get to use Shakedown Heavy as a defender, stopping their next attack, and you get to draw a card. Flowstone Kavu, a little bit of flexibility. I kind of like this card. 2/3 for 1 red mana, you can give it +1/-1, so you could make it a 3/2 or a 4/1, and it has Menace. So if you think you're getting through and you're going to get some free damage, you can just pump up, use it as a mana sink, or maybe you can fool your opponent sometime. I've had battles where they think they're good with like a 3/3 blocking it, and then I pump it up and we have a trade at least. Furnace Punisher, 3/3 with Menace. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, the Punisher deals 2 damage to that player unless they control 2 or more basic lands. I don't usually have to worry about this much in standard play, but if somebody's getting fancy with maybe playing a 5-color deck, maybe they only have like 5 basic lands in the whole entire deck, it's possible if you get this out early enough, you can actually get a couple of points of damage in with it as well. But other than that, just having a You know, filling out your mana curve and having a 3/3 with Menace 4/3 mana is not a bad creature. Peerless Samurai is a 2/3 for 3. It has Menace. Doesn't sound the greatest, but whenever a Samurai or Warrior you control attacks alone, the next spell you cast this turn costs 1 less to cast. And so it works if Peerless Samurai is the one attacking alone, or another warrior, let's say an Ogre Warrior like Shakedown Heavy. So a little bit of synergy between some of the older expansion sets we still get to play with. We do also have another warrior here, the Professional Facebreaker, so that would also trigger the Peerless Samurai. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you get a treasure token. For removal, third choice, they get to either sacrifice a creature or discard a card. That gets 2 chapters before we get the Animus of Night's Reach you see to the right. Invasion of Innistrad, Flash. Target creature an opponent controls gets -13/-13 until end of turn. Massacre Girl, I like this card. 4/4 for 4, she has Menace. Creatures you control have Wither. That means the damage, whenever the damage the creatures deal, it's given in the form of -1/-1 counters. So if I send my 2/3 up against, say, a couple of 3/3s, and I only get to deal 2 points of damage, maybe it's not enough to kill him, but if, where is she? If Massacre Girl's out on there, then those, say the 1/3/3 becomes a 1/1, basically, and the other one's still a 3/3. So I might lose the creature, but, you know, it's not all for naught with Massacre Girl out. It changes the calculus on when you might be willing to attack and what you might be willing to accept. In the meantime, whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if its toughness was less than 1, you draw a card, which that can be a rare bonus, but it's always a pleasant surprise when it happens. 4 copies of War Train Slasher. It's a 4/3 for 4. Doesn't sound the greatest, but it does have Menace. However, when it attacks a battle, you double its power until the end of the turn. So if we've got these Invasion of Asgul's out, it's going to be really powerful. If we've got Invasion of Innistrad out, it's going to be really powerful. And I also have Invasion of Olgrotha. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to any other target, and you gain 3 life. And we can get Granny Sengir out of it. Grandmother Sengir was something introduced a long time ago in the Homelands expansion back in the early 90s, mid-90s. And I think I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Grandmother Ravi Sengir. But nice to see a return of that creature. 1 copy of Sheoldred, not the Apocalypse, just the regular Sheoldred, because she has Menace. Resistant Skywarden has Menace and Reach, so I do have one thing specifically against flyers. Volatile Arsonist. This is a nice card just to build around an entire deck, but a 4/4 costs 5 to get down, but it has Menace and Haste. Plus, whenever it attacks, 1 damage to each up to 1 target creature, player, and or target planeswalker. If it turns to night, you deal 2 damage instead of 1 to each of those 3 targets. Very nice card. And 1 more Battle Invasion of Fiora is my board wipe. 1 Olivia's Attendants, card you don't see a lot of. 6/6 with Menace. Whenever she deals damage, create that many blood tokens. And another mana sink, because she can deal 1 damage to any target for each 3 mana you spend. And 2 Flesh Gorgers. So, we're going to overload them with Menace. It's kind of... Oh, hang on. Let me go look at the lands real quick. Because... Let's see, where are you? Restless Vents. Till end of turn becomes a 2/3 black and red insect creature with Menace. So even my lands that turn into attackers, they fit the theme. Just wanted to point that out. Pardon me if you hear me crunching my ice in the summertime. Okay, Victor 1986. We can bring down the Beamstown. Beamtown Beat Stick. Say that 3 times fast. Sometimes I wonder about their choice of card names. What do they need? 5 total or 4 and 2 life to transform that. It's like a bunch of cards that are based on the double-faced card feature. Wizards really went wild when they discovered this dual face technology, and they got into the modal cards. Both Strixhaven and Kaldheim had them. And, you know, here we have them in March of the Machines and Innistrad. What do we want to do? I think Peerless Samurai is a good first starter. Cutzel could be problematic. They're transforming already. So yet again, our opponent's able to take what's on the board and make it bigger than what we have for the defense. And we missed a land drop, so our second match is not looking so good yet. Okay, all is not lost yet. Let's see what happens. Cutzel's not having an impact so far. Most of our interaction is in the form of battles, so that might not hurt us as much as other decks we would be hurt. What are you plotting? Oh boy, Railway Brawler. They're willing to do that? Alright, we'll make the trade now. They lose 2 creatures. I get some lifelink out of it, but they get to bring down the aura. And we missed a land drop, which means I kind of have to do this just to go get a treasure. But we did make a spell cheaper. Do I want to bring... No, it's kind of the waste of the treasure, isn't it, if I do that? I don't know. It's tough. We don't have a lot of health left, and they've got a lot of resources here. This comes down as an enchantment, not a creature, so it doesn't get the benefit from Brawler. But they could have another creature if they do. I think we're finished. They destroy that. Okay. What's left for us here? I feel like we have the wrong set of tools here. Like the cards are... No, that's too expensive, right? Okay, let's try the Flesh Gorger again. We could double block Brawler if they want to send the Brawler at us. Missing land drops is really hurting us at this point. They can just put this on and make this double strike, and we're just dead in the water. Yeah, I could sack, but even there it has trample as well. Trample and double strike. I need like 2 versions of removal, 2 forms of removal. Well, see, maybe I guess I should have had Facebreaker out there. Okay, so if I put this down now, it's not going to be enough. Nope, I'm dead. Just one Railway Brawler is all they needed. If I hadn't missed the land drop and then drawn my board wipe, that would have changed the entire nature of the game. But yet another game decided, not necessarily by skill as much, but the old land starvation. I was doing one of the daily rewards earlier, and I lost track of how many times I won. I won 3 or 4 times in a row. As soon as I had won that many times, Magic put me up against a deck with the most powerful spells. We're talking like they had Atraxa and Itali and one with the Multiverse, and they got them all out early. And they had 2 copies of one with the Multiverse out in shockingly short order of time. It was an impressive display of putting me in my place as soon as I had won too many matches in a row. How many cards do you have? Standard number of cards, okay. We start with Rotisserie Elemental. We're up against another boring land. Ugh. Doppelgang. Yeah. And we miss a land drop, so we're probably going to lose because, you know, we're up against a deck whose whole benefit is land. And if we can't match them, they're going to scale past us way too quickly. It's just a very slow, boring kind of strategy they have. And we miss a land drop. Lovely. Not even enough to get past them if they double block us, so we can do absolutely nothing, giving them all the time in the world they need to set up their doppelgang. Third color, digging for what they need, of course. Everything they need, we get land starved 2 times in a row. Thank you, Arena. Very, very skill-based game this is. Opponent does not miss their land drop. Oh, I sound like a broken record after how many days in a row of recordings have I released that I've said that? Oh. 2 mana, Wizards of the Coast. This is your idea of fun gameplay. That's what you said you wanted. You said you wanted us to have fun when we went online and played this game, right? I didn't mishear your quote or anything, right? You did say you wanted us to have fun? The sacklands are what make this the most unbearably slow deck in the world. Let's bring down a Kavu, I guess. Yep, they got a nice little critical mass of 3 sacklands, and so they start getting rid of their analysts, drain their deck of all the land so that they draw their useful cards. They've already got more than twice as many lands as we do, because this deck needs a little help against mine, actually, to be honest. But, you know, if you land starve me for 3 or 4 turns, that should be all you need. So they should have a World Soul's Rage in there. A Doppelgang would work almost any turn now. Yeah, let's see what's in your hand. Why not? Yeah, let's get rid of Shigeki. They got 2 of the Doppelgang cards already. Wow. They could just create a bunch of copies of Tough Cookie, I suppose. I lost track of what number turn we're on. Are we on turn 7? I think we're on 7 or 8. Something like that. Yeah, it took us a long time to get here. I'm not sure if I ever want to make the effort to make a deck like this. I mean, I've come up against it so many times. Is there any other deck where Aftermath Analyst is good? I kind of want to do something, anything different than Doppelgang and World Soul's Rage. It's just like, you've got Nisa, you've got the Analysts, and look how quickly they got all their Analysts up front to get everything done. That was what they needed. And we have to put up with it yet again. The other thing they can do is they can just make copies of the pain lands. But did they have a pain land in here yet? I don't think I saw one. Did they run out of basic lands? I think they ran through all their basic lands. Yeah, that may be all their land, unless they, well, they might have some more sack lands, and they might have 3 more sack lands in there. Yes, yes, yes. I think if you've seen this before or sat through this before, I probably don't have to tell you this, but you can go ahead and just scroll forward in the video. You don't have to sit here for all this. It's so boring. Hey, I finally got another land. I can cast 1 card. Let's do this. Hang on, the cat just got up here and sat on my keyboard. How did you know how to trigger full control, Kit Kat? It's really not worth attacking. It's really not worth the time. And yet again, they're still getting their sack lands. They should be able to just create a whole bunch of copies of Tough Cookie. They sacrificed their Tough Cookie. Okay. Let's do this. You got rid of your creature because you didn't want to lose your cards. Okay, now you lost all your doppelganger cards. Let's go ahead and attack. Probably should have attacked with Rotisserie too. They only have 1 creature now. They can't block us. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. All that land starvation. All of my lands that did come down were all tap lands. And I managed to force you to discard a couple of cards. They got through all of their lands with all of their Aftermath Analysts, and they never got to their win condition. I think they just waited too long. I mean, how many copies of Tough Cookie could they have made with what they had out? I guess you probably do need to practice with that deck a time or two before you learn the rhythm and flow of it. I've lost to that deck more than I've won. Mostly due to land starvation, but still, I think they could have had that. Notice Arena didn't pop up the message to ask if I had fun in that one or not. I always like when I win a battle, but I don't enjoy the way I do it. And then I get quizzed on that so I can answer their little poll and tell them, no, I won, but I didn't like the game. It's the most boring victory I've had all week. It's even more exciting when my opponent scoops on turn 1, rather than have to sit through all that. Okay, first blood is mine. Haha! Let's be nice, we'll say hello. It's good to say hello after you attack somebody, right? Okay, they are waiting. I've got so many spells, so let's try it. We're expecting counter spells. There we go. Standard control stuff. Is there black in here or just... Yep, they've got their land creature already and they can power it up. Let's go with Peerless Samurai. Second copy of No More Lies. You got it? I do have a Field of Ruin that I can use to destroy that. Nope, just 3 steps ahead. Okay. They didn't even attack. You know what? Let's keep going then. They're beating me on land, so it's not like I benefit from withholding any of my spells. At some point they run out of counter spells and have to go digging for more. So we've reached that point. They have their own Field of Ruin, which means they can take out my Restless Vents. Is that a Mirex? Same old boring control decks. Always having the Mirex. Okay, what do we want to do? Let's just attack for starters. Let's see if that prompts them to play anything at all. One spell, that's removal. Let's just replace it. And another No More Life. So is that the 2 spells they got from Memory Deluge? Let's try Furnace Punisher. They have 3 basic lands out already, so it's not going to hurt them at all. And then... yeah, let's burn one of these. Why not? Opponent gets to see that too, right? And we start with the Mirex because they have nothing better to do. Lovely. They can just afford to cast Memory Deluge already. 2 Fields of Ruin. Yeah, so my Restless Vents isn't going to get used at all. They could destroy Restless Vents right now and stop me from getting that creature. But they know we have it, so we will play it. I don't even need the creatures to have Menace. They don't have any valid blockers, really. I mean, if they made... they could turn this into a blocker, but... so I guess Menace does stop them if they had any way of making this bigger. What are you going to do with that? Okay. Here's one of the problems with Invasion of Asgul, right? Is this type of thing. And they do nothing again. Let's see, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker card. The odds are probably low that they have one of those, right? Let's try this first. And then we'll go ahead and put the map token on that. Yeah. I kind of like that. Alright, we're finally getting some mana that we might be able to challenge them at some point on something. They go digging whatever 3 cards they have they don't like. It could just be they're waiting for a critical mass to do a Sunfall. If they've got Mirex, the blue-white control players have been very unimaginative. The only new card they put in Get Lost and they put in No More Lies lately, and that's about it. Farewell instead. Okay. Yeah, that gets rid of my treasure. Okay, we'll do this, and we'll do this, and we'll do this. What do you got? Oh, 2 planeswalkers. Let's get rid of 1 at least. Oh, they were waiting. How many cards did I still have? I had 42, so they could have milled 30. Your whole thing was not Sunfall? Well, maybe Sunfall might still be in here. They didn't dig through their deck that much. They were going to use Farewell, and then they were going to mill me. Oh, I went into Historic last night, and I beat a nice number of mill decks. Half the time I lose to them, but this time I won. I wonder how many of those copies I have of this card by now. I kind of like that card. I like all the Aftermath cards. I like the way they're designed. Yeah, I took my Shrine deck out for a spin. It had been a long time. Beat a couple of mill decks in a row. The second one, oh, they scooped me forever when they realized they were going to lose. They scooped me for the maximum amount of time. I had a visiting family member. I showed him. I said, here, look. They're not going to do a single thing from now on. I don't usually have a live witness, so it was fun to have my nephew around. I was able to trash talk the ropers. I tend not to cuss in my regular life anyway, but most of my insults as I'm broadcasting are pretty lame and like dad joke type things. So. It's always fun when you can cut loose and get a little more vicious. You wait till somebody like a family or a good friend is around so that you know that you're in safe territory. That they're not going to get offended if you say something. Okay, I think Invasion of Elgrotha is a good way to get rid of the Opportunists now to eliminate their card draw. We'll go ahead and try and see if we can get that converted too. It doesn't do much good sitting here. So if I can get Granny Sengir out, they just have a replacement. Alright. You know what? That's fine. If I put this out... Oh, this might work great. But I can't convert this right away. But I have Menace, so maybe I'll still be able to do it next time. Okay, we attack with... Oh, that's not a... Shoot. I did that wrong. It's not a warrior. It doesn't qualify. I was going to make this cheaper and cast a second spell. I messed up. Let's see if that cost me the match. They think the Samurai is a bigger threat. They get their card draw advantage. That should help them pass me on land draw pretty quickly, if they can keep that up. Ah, they know they can't block the Menace, so they're just going to go ahead and get their point in while they can. Which means... we can convert this. Ta-da! Human Wizard! In the meantime, Shakedown Heavy. I'm sort of counting that they won't have a board wipe. Mono Black does have access to board wipes. We have one in our deck, but traditionally, most of what I've been coming across on Arena is Mono Black's been sticking to single point removal. And just, they have a good card draw with Morbid Opportunist that if they use a removal, they have a chance to refuel and have something for the next threat. Yeah, there we go. Murdering Hero's Downfall. Let's try and outscale them. Let's go as big as we can. Maximum use of all of our lands. If they have a Toxrill or something, we're in trouble. Just another curse. I think we can handle that. If they have curse and removal, I'm in trouble. 2 cards from my hand. Ugh. That does hurt. I'm hoping for another land so I can full cast the Flesh Gorger then. But they didn't have removal. And they can't block me. Yes. And if I don't like what I get, I have 6 blood tokens that I can keep rotating through. until I get to a spell that I can cast to keep these from transforming into 4/4s. Black could just do nothing and convert those into 2 4/4s. Lord of the Forsaken. Uh-oh, they can cast stuff from the graveyard. Shoot. But they need to pay 7 to get rid of the Flesh Gorger, just to pay the ward cost alone. They can double block now. Okay, let's go ahead and cycle through the land and see if we can get something better. Or maybe I just do Hidden Necropolis? Now, if I do Hidden Necropolis, these two are going to switch. I don't want them to switch. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Come on, Arena. You did good with the land draw to get me to 7. We matched them even with their card draw advantage. Thank you. You can have your card draw because you can't match 7, 13, 14, 15, 16. You got no blockers. I didn't think it was worth transforming this into Deluge of the Dead. They don't even want to try it. They could have double blocked and gotten some lifelink maybe. I don't know. Whatever they drew, it wasn't enough. They might have been willing to try it if they could single block 1 apiece. But even the smallest target, even the smallest attacker we had, also had Menace. And we could have pumped that one up to kill the Morbid Opportunist. I would have preferred an untapped land for that turn, but maybe they'll do some nice little ninjutsu and we'll get a bigger creature we can make them sacrifice. This is usually, I was going to say it's usually black and blue. Card draw advantage. Oh, I wonder if this is a Rot Priest kind of deck. They're flyers. Okay, so I'll put down another one of those. And whatever protection spell they have, it won't stop this. I like that animation. Jewel Thief. Okay. Let's see your Jewel Thief, raise you a War Trained Slasher. If that attacks, I'll just let it go. They're smart. They're not doing anything until after the attack. They could easily have a 1-drop green spell and make that indestructible. That's very common. But they don't have... I don't think they have... I wouldn't have to worry about a flash creature, do I? What do you got up your sleeve? You can't block me with just the Jewel Thief. But you think you can do something. My opponent is Sun. What's up, Sun? They just want to fight. Okay. I can't stop that. So they were trying to hold that, were they? Let's try another creature with Menace then. Counterspell? No? Okay. Do I play this or not? I think I hold it. Maybe I could bring the Slasher back. Oh, never mind. I got my own. Got another one. We're good. Let's go straight for their face here. Because I want a card draw. They're not going to take 6. They took 6. Do I ever get tired of being wrong? Son, you took 6 straight to the face. That's okay. So, I think they were counting on their top deck to save them. Whatever they were looking for, it wasn't going to save them. Alright, that's enough wins. Magic should be willing to put me in my place again. Oh, I clicked too fast. I didn't even see what that was. We're going to play one more. June's a fun month for me just because I tend to look at other spells other than creatures, right? Because I've been playing... I started playing Magic... I took a big break for a while, but I started playing Magic in the early 90s, shortly after the game came out. We're up against the world's worst Magic player. Well, I can't lose to that, can I? Your dragon's still sleeping. And so I've played with a lot of creatures. So I tend to look at the instants and sorceries and enchantments more often than not, and look at the interesting things you can do with those more often. June sort of makes me take a break and forces me, since I'm looking at the keywords. Most of the evergreen keywords are things that help out a creature with combat or the battlefield board state, that type of thing. So these types of decks tend to be very creature heavy. Instead of, 18 creatures, I'm putting in 26 to 30 a lot of the time. This stuff is all very cheap. I think I need to do this now and just get some information what I'm up against. Herbrest Forge. I think that's going to kill me. We'll get rid of Borrowed Time. I didn't bother to put anything that takes care of artifacts, so on curve, Herbrest Forge should be enough to kill me. This is typical what Arena does to me after I've won a while. Stick that up in there. Okay, fine. Let's see how much we can slow this roll here. They got their 4th land, so Terror of the Peaks is not too far away. We can't afford to keep taking those hits. We'll have to stop that for as often as we can. Do you think you can beat us if we're dealing 6 damage each turn? I think they're going to give me a card draw. See, I really wanted to hit them in the face. Most times this early in the match, they're all pummeling my face and I don't get anything in. By the time I'm ready to attack, it's too late, so... We play you. We play you. Get rid of your 1/1. We attack with both straight to the face. Come on. All attack! Okay. Do you let me hit you or do you give me card draw? They take 12! Do you have a board wipe in your hand? What's going on here? I'll go ahead and wait on that. We're running out of things to do here. I've got this left, that's it. Borrowed Time. Oh, they're going to get rid of one of my Shakedown Heavies. That was a top deck. Got rid of your other one. Okay, I can't block that one. We're taking 4 points. Oh, this might work. Okay, so we gain a life. We gotta sacrifice something. They'll sacrifice this thing, right? Straight to the face. I don't think that helps me. 2 points. Get a treasure token. Let's bring down the beat stick. We're beating them on land right now. Can you believe it? Did they top deck another borrowed time? This is going to be close. This does not help me in terms of this. That gives them a bunch of chump blockers to... All they need to do is block, don't they? That is not helpful. I can't activate this. They don't have 8 things in their graveyard. I think I'm gonna die. Discard a card. Yeah, that card's not doing me any good. They didn't block. They could have stopped the Shakedown Heavy. They could have chump blocked a couple to Shieldred. They would have only taken 5. I think I was supposed to lose that one too. Anyway, let me open another deck, see if it shows me what... I got an Itali? That was the card they gave me? I have an Itali. I have one Atraxa that I burned a Mythic Rare for, and I have one Itali now. So I'm going to start creating those ultra-powerful decks that everybody runs rampant with all over the field. All right, here's a look at the cards again. Not too many appearances by the upper tier, really. But I was just glad that we got to show Olivia's Attendance once. That was really nice. Flesh Gorger I've used a lot. It's been a while since I pulled out the Volatile Arsonist. Too bad he didn't make an appearance this time. And I don't think we saw the Skywarden this time. So there's a lot of the smaller mana cards we managed to get out and show off. But some of the ones that, like I just got a copy of Massacre Girl. She's come in really nice in this deck, so I really like the way she works. But as always, we invite your comments on what you might like to see, what you might like to do to this particular deck construction. Let me know if this series is helpful for you. This is the 4th year in a row I've been doing Evergreen Month, where we do these keywords. So we've done Menace, so I'll choose a different keyword for next time. And as always, like and subscribe. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.